I spawned 1000 skeletons to see how many would make these shots, ranging from pretty easy to almost impossible. First, we have this pretty simple target, and I think most of them will make this shot with no problem. Let's spawn the skeletons and see how they do. Here is skeleton number 1000. As I said, most of them were able to hit a bullseye pretty easily. In total, 755 out of 1000 made the shot. Next up is a target that's a lot farther away, but I still think a good chunk of them will be able to pull it off, so let's go ahead and spawn the mobs. This time, 247 skeletons managed to land the shot, which is a big drop from the last one, so the only logical thing to do is get that number to 0 by making the shots even harder. For this one, whenever they shoot, the arrows will bounce off the surface just like this. Let's see how the skeletons will do on this challenge, where the only way to hit the button is by bouncing it off the mountain. Exactly 100 skeletons managed to get a bullseye, but instead of one bounce, how about we make it several? I set up a bunch of pads with the target at the end. It takes a long time for even me to make the shot, so I'm curious to see how the skeletons will do. Clearly, this one was another big drop from the last challenge since only 31 made it, but I want to get that number to 0. This time, I set up a target over 150 blocks away from the spawn. You might be wondering, there is no way the skeletons could reach that far, and you'd be correct, which is why I changed Minecraft mechanics to allow them to shoot much farther than usual. So let's see it in action. It turns out 10 skeletons still made this shot, but instead of far, what if we go really high? So I set up this 30 block high wall and put a target near the base. Needless to say, this is an incredibly difficult one to pull off. Surprisingly, 3 skeletons still pulled through, so to come up with a shot that 1000 skeletons can't make, I'm gonna have to make these more elaborate. Okay, so I carefully placed these blocks in just the right way, but you have to be ridiculously accurate with your initial shot. I couldn't land a single shot that I made, so I would be very surprised if any skeleton can successfully hit the button. After 100 tries, not a single one came past the 3rd block. Right now, I think this shot will genuinely have no successful attempts. I was feeling pretty good about things until this happened. After 500, there were still no winners in sight. I still had hope that my meticulously designed course would prevail. Around the 800 mark, there was another attempt that caught my attention. But thankfully, it didn't hit the center. After 900 shots with the button still being intact, I was on the verge of celebration. This is the 1000th skeleton. Let's see how this guy does. That makes it official, we had a total of 0 skeletons nailing the shot. But I do want to see how many more attempts it will take before we have a winner. So I'm gonna do a time lapse and let's wait for a glowing redstone lamp. After watching lifeless skeletons shoot for hours, I was getting pretty skeptical. But then this happened. This is shot number 1506. And we now finally have a winner. Although 1000 skeletons couldn't beat this trick shot, 1506 skeletons could.